All right, well, this is the third of three easymmetrical pieces, O3. And the other two, the first two pieces of three easymmetrical pieces of three did not have prologues or prefaces or introductions like this one does. But this one, that makes this one a little bit asymmetrical, and that's part of the structure of the series. So that's useful. In this particular performance, I've done some pre-sorting, and I can talk a little bit about that pre-sorting after I introduce the subtitle. The subtitle of the third easymmetrical piece of three is the pronoun Cokboy sorts contemporary Native American poets by archaic invitation only to his Shaking the Pumpkin Party. And I believe that this is a blue jay feather, probably, rather than a blue heron feather, as we've been talking about blue herons lately. The materials to be sorted, and I still have to do some pre-sorting, are laid out here, and I limited them because I need to make sure that I more or less stay within the hour limit. It's not an absolute limit, but to get things up on the web with my limited internet access here on the Navajo Nation in Fort Defiance, it'll take me almost a day, sometimes more than a day, if I go over an hour. So I have to limit that. So in order to limit it, I've limited the materials here, but hopefully we can sort in all the ways that we need to sort. And as we begin the performance proper, I don't have a pumpkin to shake or authentic, as they say, authentic archaic medicine rattle, but I have these seeds that I thought would do the trick or substitute for a rattle. I often use these packages of seeds I use makeshift rattles as they're provided by the creator in whatever instance I'm in that requires a rattle. Just like if I would, when I used to bury res dogs that were hit by cars on the side of the road, you use whatever is at hand. If you have sage, you burn sage. If you don't, you burn whatever you have, and making a blessing of smoke with whatever materials are available. Usually I would keep, sage in the car for that purpose, but, you never know what you might encounter, and you never know when you have to improvise. So this is an improvised rattle, and it's made out of these packages of seeds. The first seed is squash, winter, sweet, reba, acorn, squash. And we have squash, winter squash, gold nugget, squash. That looks a lot like a pumpkin. All the squashes are related to pumpkin anyway. Winter squash, gold nugget again. Looks like a different kind of variety of it. Nope, same species, just different package. So we have two of those. So we have two pumpkin-like Moon and Stars, that's a nice name. Watermelon squash. We have some Dakota black corn. And we have Painted Hill sweet corn. So that's the rattle. And we won't begin using the rattle until I'll put these, since we have two pumpkin-like squashes, I'll put them on the in and outside of the rattle. And before we get in the, I guess it's a ceremony, I don't know. Before we begin the sorting proper with the rattle, I have a little bit of sorting that I need to do. Leslie Marvin Silko is, did I say what the title was? I did. Let me reiterate the title though, because it's important to our pre-sorting. The pronoun Cokboy sorts contemporary Native American poets. So we have to sort, whoever's not contemporary and might not be considered a poet out to begin with. So this volume, which a lot of this volume actually ends up in a volume called Shaking the Pumpkin, but it's not contemporary in the way that our sorting event is intended to be. So this needs to be sorted out, and then Black Elk, again, not contemporary in the way that this particular event is constituted. And Johnny Yoahu, really interesting book, but I could see how she may not be categorized or sorted strictly as a poet. We want to make sure that we begin with the constraints that we are in fact functioning within poetry. Sherman Alexie, and these volumes are not poetry per se, although there's poetry in Reservation Blues. You have to take my word for it that he's also a poet. Oh no, you don't. You don't have to take my word for it. It's right there. It's in print. I don't have these volumes, but they exist. You have to take my word for the fact that they exist, and that I didn't plant this. This also by Sherman Alexie in this volume. This is clearly a book of poetry. Mary Crodog's autobiography. Although again, there's poetry in it, but it's not poetry per se. Sort that out. All right, so that's the pre-sorting. And like I said, I limited myself to the number of volumes that I think I can manage to keep within an hour. Some of these volumes will be a little bit more complicated because they're anthologies, so we have a lot of names. So we'll go by whether these contemporary Native American poets. I could drink some coffee. Lily Long Soldier refers to coffee as medicine. In this case, it's definitely medicine, bear medicine. All right, so it'll be a little complicated because I've got to film and I've got to shake the rattle and I've got to read names. So there may be some problems with the filming at some point. and I may have to lay down the camera, but we'll see how it works. I think you know, as far as the invitations go, we'll just sort by invited or uninvited. Leslie Martin Silko, uninvited. Sherman Alexi, uninvited. And Scott Momaday, uninvited. Layla Long Soldier, uninvited. Joseph Buchok, uninvited. Paula Gunn Allen, uninvited. Carol Arnett, uninvited. Jim Barnes, uninvited. Dwayne Big Eagle, uninvited. Peter Bluefowl, uninvited. Beth Brandt, uninvited. Diane Burns, uninvited. Bonnie Bush, uninvited. Gladys Carter, uninvited. Robert J. Conley, uninvited. Charlotte DeClue, uninvited. Anita Andreezy Danielson, uninvited. Mia Francisco, uninvited. Diane Glancy, uninvited. Mary Goose, uninvited. Janet Campbell Hale, uninvited. Joel Harjo, uninvited. Gordon Henry, uninvited. Lance Henson, uninvited. Jerry Hobson, uninvited. Linda Hogan, uninvited. Karoni Tutti, also Alex Jacobs, uninvited. Maurice Kenny, uninvited. Tauhin Dali, also Frank LaPena, uninvited. Harold Littlebird, uninvited. Adrian C. Lewis, uninvited. Philip Yellowhawk, Minthon, uninvited. Dwayne Item, uninvited. Nyla Northson, uninvited. William Owen Dawson, uninvited. Lewis Littleton Oliver, uninvited. Simon J. Ortiz, invited. Ted D. Advantier, uninvited. Ron Rogers, uninvited. Wolf Waho, uninvited. Wendy Rose, uninvited. Norman H. Russell, uninvited. Ralph Salisbury, uninvited. R.T. Smith, uninvited. Mary Tall Mountain, uninvited. Lucy Capohonso, uninvited. Earl Thompson, uninvited. Laura Tohe, uninvited. Madurga Tohe, uninvited. Gerald Listener, uninvited. James Welch, uninvited. Roberta Hill Whiteman, uninvited. Phyllis Wolf, uninvited. Elizabeth Wooden, uninvited. Ray A. Youngbear, uninvited. Now these are both traditional and contemporary collection, and I'm not sure entirely who absolutely constitutes for certain being a poet as opposed to a narrative writer. I probably should have sorted this volume out. It's going to be a little complicated to go through one by one and sort them. We'll just assume that, let's see if I can find anyone who was uninvited or invited. Yeah, and again, there are a lot of repeats in this one. So, there was no one from this volume invited, and there are a lot of repeats So we'll just refer to this one as, we'll assume that among Spider Woman's granddaughters there are some poets. So we'll just say, Spider Woman's contemporary granddaughters. Uninvited.